You probably clicked on this video for one of two reasons. Reason 1, you hardly know anything about Redstone and you want to learn enough to do some simple tricks. Reason 2, you already know a little about Redstone, but want to make sure your knowledge is up to snuff. Either way, this video is for you. Today, we'll be going through some components that you'll need for simple circuits, so if this helps you to understand them, leave a comment. It really helps out the channel and lets me know what kind of content I should make in the future. Power sources are integral to any redstone circuit. Without them, nothing would function, and you wouldn't be able to achieve such feats as turning on lights, activating pistons, and powering dispensers. The first power source, and the simplest to use, would definitely be the redstone block. With the relatively simple crafting recipe of 9 redstone dust in a square, it may be hard to obtain, but makes up for it by being the easiest to take power from. You can use a redstone block if you need something to be constantly powered, like a light in your house. In later contraptions, redstone blocks can be pushed into place or out of place to power things in a versatile way. However, there are more efficient uses for your redstone if you're playing in survival and running low on the precious powder. A good example of these alternatives is the lever, definitely one of the easiest to craft of the power sources, being made of 1 cobblestone and 1 stick. Very early game items, as you can tell. Its simple crafting recipe makes levers well fitted for your simple redstone projects like a piston door or a light system. Levers can switch off and on, obviously, and they maintain their switch position, unlike the button and the pressure plate. Speaking of buttons and pressure plates, they're pretty similar, so we'll be covering them together. The button can be pressed by the player or from an arrow shot, although arrow shots from mobs are quite rare, meaning that the button is basically only usable by the player. When a wooden button is activated, it gives out a redstone pulse for 1.5 seconds, the stone button having a pulse of 1 second. This means it can be used for single-use things like dispensers. Those power sources are definitely the most commonly used and the most versatile, but definitely aren't all of the power sources in the game. That means we'll have to do a quickfire round.
3, 2, 1, go!
First is the daylight sensor. It's on during the day and off during the night, can be inverted by right-clicking to do the opposite, and looks kind of like a solar panel. Pretty nice. Next is the detector rail. Turns on whenever a minecart is on top of it, just a pressure plate with extra steps. Lecterns emit a redstone pulse when you turn the pages of a book, which is useful. Observers turn on when the block in front of them changes, like if a block is broken or something, definitely useful for traps. Redstone torches output a redstone signal, just like a block, but when a signal goes into them, they turn off. Minecraft's own little NOR gate. These are super important for logic or larger redstone builds. Target blocks emit a pulse when shot at, trap chests emit a pulse when opened, tripwires emit a pulse when walked over, and finally, weighted pressure plates are effectively the same as normal pressure plates, but the signal strength increases as more entities are added. There are 2 types of these, light with gold and heavy with iron. Phew, that's a lot. There are lots of items in Minecraft that can be controlled by redstone, all of them useful in their own unique situations. Each one of these can be paired up with any source of power in most cases, and can be connected to each other using redstone dust, the material that drops when redstone ore is mined. Doors and gates can be opened when powered with a redstone signal. Interestingly, wooden doors can be opened by hand, but iron doors can only be opened by redstone. This means that iron doors can be useful for trapping villagers since they can't hit buttons. You can make doors and gates much faster to go through by placing pressure plates on each side so you step on them while you walk towards the door. The same applies with trapdoors. If you don't want to use the traditional doors, you can do some things with pistons. Pistons are blocks which push other blocks when they're in the right place. They come in 2 variants, regular pistons and sticky pistons. Sticky pistons do exactly what the name suggests, stick to blocks. This makes them useful for doors and other moving objects that you may want to move back. There are situations where the regular pistons would be used too, like a piston feed tape. Dispensers are really great because they can do a lot of things. For example, they can shoot fireworks, shoot arrows and other projectiles, place liquids from a bucket, and surprisingly, even to me, put armor on a player. As a little honorary mention before the video ends, here's the repeater. Repeaters extend the length of redstone signals. Where they would usually only travel 15 blocks, they can be extended indefinitely with repeaters. They also provide delay to your redstone, giving it between 1 and 4 ticks of delay depending on its set position. In the next redstone video, I'll be showing you how to build your own logic gates with these components. If you want to watch that video, it will be linked at the end of this video, or you can subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified as soon as it's uploaded.